The Holland America Westerdam, let me tell you, she's a beaut. Big, yes, but elegant, like a grand dame who knows her way around the sea. 2 days at sea for the chaos of the ports to fade away, replaced by a hushed sort of relaxation. That feeling? That's the promise of escape. And for introverts like us, that's pure gold. We had a plan for these days at sea, and it wasn't to be found in the crowds. We needed time to unwind, not engage. There were many quiet places aboard the Westerdam, but the real prize, that balcony. Stepping outside, the salty air hit me. Seagulls squawked, the Tasman Sea stretched out, all blue and sparkling. This I knew was going to be my sanctuary. The open sea was calling. I grabbed my book, settled into the deck chair, and breathed deep. The engine hummed, a gentle lullaby. The sun warmed my face. This was it. This was peace. And for the next 2 days, this ship, she was our own personal oasis. Mornings at sea on the Westerdam were a revelation. No alarm clocks, no schedules, no one vying for our attention, just us, the sunrise, and a steaming cup of coffee. The balcony became my morning ritual. Watching the world wake up over the water, it was downright meditative. The gentle rocking of the ship, the seabirds calling, it was better than any meditation app. I'd sketch on a portrait while watching the play of light on the waves. Sometimes I'd just be lost in thought, watching the world drift by. The solitude was bliss. No need for small talk, no forced pleasantries, just us and the vastness of the sea. It was liberating and surprisingly energizing. Turns out an introvert's battery gets recharged by quiet moments, not crowded rooms. Cruises, they're not exactly known for being tranquil. But even on a ship bustling with passengers, pockets of peace could be found. You just had to know where to look. The trick was to avoid peak hours. The pool deck, a madhouse midday, but early morning, serene, like having the place to ourselves. Afternoons were for exploring the ship's nooks and crannies. The gallery bar, with its comfy chairs and the walls covered in artwork, was a haven. Sometimes I'd find a quiet corner in one of the lounges, sipping an Aperol Spritz, watching the world go by through panoramic windows. The key was to observe, to learn the rhythm of the ship. When the crowds flocked to the buffet, I sought solace elsewhere. A quiet stroll on the promenade deck, the wind in my hair, the sun on my face. It was amazing how much peace you could find when you weren't looking for a party. March 7th dawned bright and breezy. Another day in paradise. It started while we were at breakfast in our room. When we came back, waited a cupcake with a happy anniversary message. Happy anniversary from the captain. A mix-up, clearly. 2 nights before, we had told our server we were celebrating an anniversary. He notated our anniversary on the same date we were eating at the specialty restaurant. We celebrated anyway. It was close enough to our real wedding anniversary on March 9th. We enjoyed the cupcake, the towel swans, and even the cake with dinner. You never know what unexpected adventures might come your way. The sun was shining, the sea was calm, and my only plan was to soak it all in. I spent the morning lost in my book, sprawled out on a deck chair, the gentle rocking of the ship lulling me into a contented daze. Lunch was a quiet affair on the balcony, with food brought down from the buffet, but the true star of the show was the pavlova. Crisp whipped cream and fresh fruit. It was a symphony of textures and flavors. Each bite was a tiny explosion of happiness. The afternoon was dedicated to solace. I wandered the decks, discovering hidden corners and enjoying the feel of the salt spray on my face. The beauty of a cruise, I was discovering, was that even doing nothing felt somehow luxurious. As the day drifted towards evening, a familiar craving hit tea and something sweet. Luckily, the Westerdam excelled at both. Every day at sea, a selection of dainty pastries and finger sandwiches appeared in the dining room, accompanied by a seemingly endless supply of steaming hot tea. It became my ritual, finding a quiet corner away from the chattering crowds and indulging in a spot of afternoon delight. The scones, light and fluffy, were a revelation. I couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude. The Westerdam for all its grandeur and bustle, had provided me with something truly precious, a chance to recharge, to reconnect with myself, to remember the simple pleasure of solitude. It was a reminder that sometimes the most luxurious indulgence is simply the gift of peace and quiet, and for that I would forever be grateful. Looking back, it wasn't just the luxurious amenities or the stunning ocean views that made my cruise so special. It was the unexpected pockets of solitude, the freedom to set my own pace, the joy of simply existing without the pressure of constant social interaction. It was a revelation, really. As an introvert, I'd always viewed a cruise as a necessary evil, something to be endured rather than enjoyed. But the Westerdam had shown me that it didn't have to be that way, that with a little planning and a willingness to embrace the quiet moments, even the most bustling of environments could offer a slice of tranquility. It was a lesson I wouldn't soon forget, and one that I suspected would forever change the way I approached travel. So would I recommend a cruise to my fellow introverts? Absolutely. But with a caveat: choose your ship wisely. Opt for a line that prioritizes comfort and relaxation over non-stop parties and forced fun. Look for ships with plenty of quiet spaces, spacious cabins with balconies, and a focus on personalized service, and most importantly, embrace the solitude. Don't be afraid to skip the crowds, to dine alone, to spend an afternoon lost in a book on your private balcony. Because sometimes the greatest luxury is the freedom to simply be yourself. And for an introvert, there's no greater joy than finding a place where that's not only accepted but celebrated.